On today's video, it is a nice cold day in Logan, Utah, and we're pulling the motor on the Integra in the backyard. We got our helpers today. It's a little messy because it's winter. What do you want? We're pulling the motor. It's got to be outside, so we're going to try to do it as quick as we can because the Princess 300ZX has the garage right now. So let's get to it. We got the whole crew here. So I initially pulled the pan off camera. And this is what we found. Let me see, where'd it go? Oh yeah, look at all those metal shavings there. Those are on the bottom of the pan. I misplaced the bad bearing, but there's like nothing left of it. The oil pump doesn't look like it really sucked up much, but we're gonna go through the whole motor. Thus why we're pulling it instead of just throwing bearings in from the bottom. Unfortunately, the bearings were swapped when the rod knock came into play by the prior owner. And then when I went to go drive it, the rod knock came back. So I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't think about it, but the rod bolts probably stretched significantly. So when we pulled it, I was able to move the connecting rod up and down about 1 millimeter, like quite a bit of play. So the bolts definitely stretched and just killed that. The crank's kind of rough now, so we're going to have to micro polish it. But luckily it's a Honda and there's a surplus of parts everywhere you go. Alright, so we just started with pulling all the fluids out. And this is moving pretty quick, got all the harness disconnected for the most part. We're just gonna yank this bad boy out. I think we're just gonna pull it out without the with the trans still in the car. We'll see if we can get away with doing that. Be a little lazy. So this is like a Lego, honestly. All right, we're making some progress here. We got intake pulled off. That was a good 2 hours just pulling off the intake. But yeah, actually we got all the fluids drained. I think I said that already. We are going to either take out the radiator or the headers or both, because that supercharger right there is extremely close to the master cylinder, so we're going to want some play that way, because I don't want to pull it off. I want to try to leave it with the motor when we pull it out, if possible. So we're kind of finding some things that are of interesting, like the map sensor here was zip tied there and had a hose going to it there. So we got to figure out make some improvements here, and we'll go from there.
Okay, that's all detached. None of that's grabbing anywhere. Okay.
Good. Look at this original reservoir. I'm gonna take that out just so we don't crack it. Actually, to the red cart. This isn't too bad doing it outside.
Oh, not right now.
And then, yeah, as soon as the sun's gone, we might make this a part 2 video, guys, or 2-day video, because once that sun's down, we're going inside. One thing you guys this isn't a how-to video, but keeping the bolts organized with bags and writing where they go, very helpful, very helpful. Alright, we're deciding to pull the trans just to avoid the possible headache of trying to pull the motor out with the trans in, because that supercharger with the pulleys does take up a lot of room. I could see being able to pull the motor if it was a stock intake manifold. I could see that happening pretty easily. But with how much room the supercharger now takes around the brake booster and how close it is to the shock tower, I really think we're going to have a massive headache trying to pull it out, and the time it might take, if we can even get it out, is going to be saved just by dropping the trans. So we're going to do that instead. All right, we're going to wrap it up for today. We got pretty far. Motor, once the trans is out, the motor should be ready to come out, albeit the motor mounts aren't done, but that's like the last thing. Not bad for only like 2 hours of work, roughly-ish. It's getting dark real quick and it gets super cold as soon as that sun's gone, so just gonna wrap it up here, and we'll start next weekend, which for this video is gonna be right now. It's almost exactly a week since we started this. We got the trans ready to pull out. CV shafts are about to slide out. The trans will drop after we pull some more bolts, and then this bad boy should, fingers crossed, or two sets of fingers crossed, come out easily. So let's get cracking on it before we freeze out here. Alright, we got all the bell housing bolts out. Now we're just working on the mounts. I want to say we're doing all of this without watching any videos on how to, any DIYs. We're just kind of winging it. So that one's pretty tight, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, weird flex, but okay. Oh yeah, looks like we got the trans out without any coils, and without any, anyway. Got an ACT clutch, it looks like, so that's a nice little goodie we got here. But I think we're gonna pull the motor now. We'll do some mounts and lift it out. So look at this. Now that there's no support on that end and it's flexing, that pulley is hitting the master cylinder brace. So this was like an NA motor. Probably would have like actually like just loosened the trans and the motor up. But it's only because of this, because there wouldn't be a pulley here first of all, and the intake manifold on the stock ones end right here, so that gives all that room. But now we have this in the way. So yeah, we gotta be careful not to do any damage to this. So we're going to be very careful. I love how this car is like, haven't really looked at any like how-tos on this. I've watched like a couple of videos of people building, but I haven't watched like a how-to or read a how-to. How straightforward this car is to work on. Hondas are amazing. I think I'd be like a bona fide Honda guy if I wasn't into like rear-wheel drive cars as much, because it's really hard to argue with this car. Also, one thing I noticed on these control arms, I'm not sure if you guys can see, but there is a bolt missing there, and same thing on the other side. So that's cool. It had a like popping noise when you would like steer a little bit. So I don't know what that's about. Also, that CV shaft was changed before, and it's supposed to have 3 bolts holding it on. It only has 2, so gotta figure that out. Yeah, I'm finding a little bit of like shade tree work in here, so kind of go through it all and get it all solid for track season. So hopefully we have this all done before track season starts up. Hopefully it's done next month. I'm just taking my time, you know. Fun fact, I'm not sure what brakes these are. I'm not sure if these are the factory ones or if these are the Type R ones. I know the last owner, or the guy who originally built this car, got Type R front end, so there's a good chance he might swap to the Type R front calipers. I have no idea. I haven't looked at all, so I could be very wrong. I mean, I'm sure someone out there is watching and knows the answer right now. But I was bored and I looked, and Will Wood makes a 4-piston big brake kit for this car that bolts to the factory location, that uses the factory 15-inch rotor, or not 15-inch rotor, but the rotor that fits under 15-inch wheels, and uses the factory hoses. Like, how cool is that? And it's $400 for some big brakes, but you can still use a 15-inch wheel and bolt it all to your factory stuff. I think that is just phenomenal aftermarket support. One funny thing with this car is I realized it's been built with all quality parts, but it hasn't been done the JDM tight way, yo. Like, it's been Jackson Racing supercharger, Comptech intake, or, you know, Coney coilovers. Like, it's just funny how like a lot of these things are like the high quality American parts put into Japanese. It just, I don't know, just an interesting parallel I made. But then I have the super JDM fresh tight Type R front end. So this is just a filler clip, you know. I'm just talking out my ass. Also, pro tip for you guys: depending on weather, if it's cold outside, get yourself an iced coffee, so that way it doesn't ruin the state of the coffee. Now it won't melt. And if it's hot outside, get a hot coffee. That way it won't get cold on you. Just things to consider when you're pulling your motor on your Honda. Alright everyone, it's out. It is out. We're just mounting it up. The clutch is in the way, and we're going to pull the flywheel off because I'm going to get that resurfaced. So we're just going to pull it all off right now. Alright guys, so we have our engine leveler to one of the bell housing bolts, and we need to put it on the stand. So we're lowered it onto what I recommend is grabbing one of your old RS-RRs. And look how rigid that is, dude. That's like a 700,000 pound motor. Look at that sidewall. What tire flex? What tire flex? You know, weird flex, but okay. Alright guys, the motor is out and is now in the garage, which we will now attempt to heat up the garage with the space heater. And we're gonna call it a day. That's not bad, honestly. We probably put like what, 5-6 hours into this total?
Total, yeah.
About 5-6 hours to do this first time without looking at any videos online on how to do this. So that just like, it's so straightforward how to like take this apart. A lot of the connectors don't match, so you're gonna have a hard time putting the wrong one into the wrong pin. This is just cool. This is like satisfying work to do in a car. Anyway, next time we'll be disassembling the motor and going from there and kind of hatching a plan of what we want to do with this bad boy. But anyway guys, I thank you guys for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for more Integra videos.